There were events that shocked the nation. Dismembered bodies discovered in gunny sacks and dumped like garbage. A year on, the cry for justice remains unanswered as a fugitive remains on the run. Quarry of Silence is the special feature we have for you tonight, done by our investigative reporter Francis O'Day. That is only one of the reports you have to look forward to on Sunday Live. Here are the rest with the highlights.
Matatu ilikuwa mbele yangu. All of a sudden nikaona imevuka upande ule mwingine wa barabara. Ikakutana kichwa kwa kichwa na lori.
More deaths on the road. A visit to an ailing kin turns tragic after the vehicle they were traveling in collides with a trailer at Kikope. Surviving one accident, dying in an ambulance crash. 3 paramedics and 3 family members die after an ambulance crashes in Gilgil.
Amejulikana dunia nzima ni mtu ya nini? He is preaching water and drinking wine.
Stop doublespeak. DCP leader Gachagua castigates President Ruto over alleged double standard in approach to violence and regional security. No justice, no closure. Families of Quarry Dam site victims remain in the dark a year after discovery of bodies as government goes silent. I'm joined tonight by Yulan Zale, our sign language interpreter. We begin the bulletin on a sad note where 20 people have been killed in 2 separate accidents along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway. In one of the incidents, a visit to an ailing kin turned tragic when a vehicle collided with a trailer, killing 14 members of one family. In the second incident, a patient who had survived an initial accident died along with 2 other members of the family and 3 paramedics when the ambulance driver lost control and crashed the vehicle. With more is Brenda Wanga.
CCTV footage captured from a nearby petrol station shows the exact moment the tragic accident occurred. 5 minutes after midday, a 14-seater matatu heading towards Nakuru and a trailer on its way to Nairobi collide at Kariandusi near Gilgil. The impact of that crash is evident on the ground. A scattering of personal belongings, shattered glass, and mangled wrecks show just how brutal this accident was. In the aftermath of that crash, 14 lives were lost. 9 female adults, 3 male adults, and 2 children, all of them relatives who were on a visit to a family member in Rongai, Nakuru.
Time I was arriving, ndio walikuwa wanatoa hizo mwili kwa gari. It has been a very fatal accident whereby I witnessed a loss of so many lives. It's really devastating.
Kila mtu akakufa, kabaki watu 3, mtoto na msichana na mzee mmoja. Mmoja ako hali mbaya, wengine wanaweza pona, si wabaya sana.
A road user who not only witnessed the accident but also narrowly escaped being crushed says it all happened in a flash.
All of a sudden nikaona imevuka upande ule mwingine wa barabara. Ikakutana kichwa kwa kichwa na lori. Mimi nilikuwa nyuma yake, nikaona sitarudishana nyuma. Mwishowe nikaona sasa lagu lile ningefanya ni kurusha gari yangu chini. Na hata ukiangalia gari yangu hapa imefanya kuguzwa na hiyo matatu. Nilipoweka gari yangu kando nikajaribu kufuja kioo. Hata kale katoto kamoja tumeweka kwa gari pale ndio nimeumia hapo kwa mkono, nimefuja na mkono hiyo kioo ya nyuma.
Police, while assessing the scene, urged motorists to be cautious while using all roads, particularly accident-prone zones.
This area is a black spot, and we also wanted to call upon Kenya to come up with a temporary measure to see how to address this matter, because this road around this area is so narrow.
Just hours earlier, on a different stretch of the same Nairobi-Nakuru highway, another tragic accident took the lives of 6 people. An ambulance ferrying a patient, her husband, her relative and a nurse was involved in a road traffic accident near Kimende. All the 5, alongside the driver, lost their lives in that accident. Incidentally, reports indicate that the primary patient had been involved in a road accident the previous night and had been referred for treatment at the Nakuru PGH and consequently to Nairobi for further assistance. It was while on transit to Nairobi when the fatal accident occurred. The bodies of the deceased were moved to the Kijabe Hospital's mortuary. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.
Barely a week after tens of maternal patients narrated their ordeal at the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital Eldoret over unpaid bills, a viral clip showing new mothers allegedly detained at the Thika Level 5 hospital over unpaid maternity bills has emerged and reignited debate on Kenya's health financing. The growing number of mothers detained after birth intensifying scrutiny of the SHA benefits package, with health experts warning that systemic gaps are trapping vulnerable women in hospital wards. As you'll hear now from Mary Mwoki, experts have called for a review of the SHA benefits package to reflect the true cost of services.
Kama wamama tunaumwa na tunahisi uchungu kwa sababu kuna wale tuko na watoto home. Watoto wetu kuna wale wana mababa, mtu analea watoto single mother.
These mothers say they have been stuck at Thika Level 5 for months, detained because they could not pay maternity bills, even though SHA was designed to cover deliveries. These scenes have drawn condemnation, with critics accusing the government of punishing women for giving birth.
So some of the problems we are having is that the politicians are going around and saying that go to hospital, it is free. But when you reach the hospital, if you have not paid the premiums for SHA, you will not be paid for by SHA.
But if you have been referred and you are not able to pay, then the government has a program to ensure that the indigents are paid for.
On paper, the government insists antenatal, postnatal and delivery services are free under the primary care network, but in reality, SHA contracts make proof of contribution mandatory. That leaves many mothers ineligible, especially in emergencies like cesarean sections. Section 25 of the SHIF Act directs Parliament to allocate funds for indigent and vulnerable persons and tasks national and county governments to pay for the cover. But those provisions remain unimplemented, leaving hospitals with no ring-fenced funds for the vulnerable mothers.
The costing has not been done. So the best tariffs would be the tariffs which are at cost. And therefore, we recommend that a costing be done. As it stands, 10,000 shillings for a normal delivery is not adequate.
If there is an area that needs improvement, we have our benefits and tariffs committee that sits, and every time they are able to improve on the tariffs that are not at par with the issue that needs to be.
Experts have urged the government to fix the systemic issues plaguing SHA, to restore the dignity of mothers and avoid issuing empty promises that don't match reality, adding that until SHA benefits are properly costed, Kenya's most vulnerable women will keep slipping through the cracks of a broken system. Mary Mwoki, Citizen TV.
A section of residents from Kajiado have lashed out at the Ministry of Lands, claiming high-handedness in the handling of a 2,600-acre Kibiko land tussle. Speaking at the contested grounds on Sunday, the residents accused the Land Principal Secretary, Nixon Korir, of making unilateral decisions without investigating the conduct of officers whom they claim have been colluding to issue titles. The leaders were reacting to claims by the PS that the ministry had followed legal processes regarding the contentious land. Laura Otieno with more.
2 days after staging protests in Nairobi, a section of Kekonyokie community members laying claim to the 2,682-acre parcel of land were back home, this time leading prayers to save their land. The faction throwing salvos at the Ministry of Lands, alleging a plan by some ministry officials to subdivide the land and issue titles.
We have undergone to witness where each and every individual of the Kibiko community stays. There is no one, and I want to put it right here, in our plan, in our subdivision of this particular community, nobody has ever been moved away or out of where he is residing.
The claims had been dismissed by Lands PS Nixon Korir, who termed them as malicious and unfounded. The faction, however, vowing to put up a spirited fight against what they said was an apparent plan to strip them of their land.
I repeat, as a woman, courageously stand here to say our land belongs to we and our children. We can never be inherited.
The 2,682-acre parcel of land in Ngong remains at the center of controversy for close to a decade, with two rival factions of Kekonyokie Community Trust claiming rightful authority over its management. Laura Otieno, Citizen TV.
Opposition chiefs Rigathi Gachagua and Kalonzo Musyoka have accused President William Ruto of doublespeak during his recent tour in the United States, where he addressed the United Nations General Assembly. The opposition leaders took issue with Ruto's statement over the Sudan conflict, accusing him of allegedly supporting one group while advocating for international community assistance to bring peace. They have also called him out for focusing on resolving the Haiti insecurity crisis when the country is allegedly facing an upsurge of criminal gangs and goons. With more is Gatete Joroge.
Jesus Exaltation Church Bethsaida in Kajiado East played host to opposition leaders who joined congregants for a Sunday service. Led by DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua, the leaders took issue with President William Ruto's statement during the United Nations General Assembly. The opposition chiefs accused the head of state of hypocrisy.
Anaambia kule Sudan tunataka human rights ziheshimike South Sudan. Hatutaki wanawake wasumbuliwe kule. Hatutaki mauaji. Hatutaki mambo ya goonism in Africa, in Sudan na huku nyumbani. Tunajua kwamba kikundi cha RSF wenda pengine wao wanapatiwa silaha za watu wa Kenya waende wakapigane nazo Sudan.
Anasimama pale kupinga abductions in Haiti when he is a chief abductor in Kenya. Anaweza kusema hataki criminal gangs in Haiti. Criminal gangs yeye ndiye mwenye kupanga hapa Nairobi wakiwa na governor.
Wewe unaenda kuongea kuhusu Haiti. What is your interest, Mr. President, that you talk more of Haiti than the country of Kenya? You are more concerned about the goons and the gangs in Haiti, but you're not concerned about the thuggery that is happening in Nairobi City.
While criticizing Kenya Kwanza leadership for violating human rights through use of excessive force to deal with protesters during the anti-government protests, opposition leaders say they will continue to push for justice for all victims who lost their lives and those living with scars.
Ni lazima tuangazie ni kwa nini vijana wetu wakauawa, wakapigwa risasi kama wanyama wa pori, na alafu anasema tutakuua alafu tukulipe pesa. Kuna pesa inalingana na moyo wa binadamu.
With hours to the launch of continuous voter registration on Monday, Gachagua urged Kenyans to turn out in large numbers and register as voters. He says the change in leadership will only be realized when young people and the middle class turn out in large numbers and support the united opposition.
We want to ask our young people across the country. They have done a wonderful job so far calling Kasongo out, informing the people of Kenya of the ills that bedevil our country. But the real transformation of our country the exit of Kasongo from State House, and the installation of a people's government will be done on the ballot box.
Kumsongesha Kasongo arudi Sugoi, lazima vijana wetu kuanzia kesho tarehe 29 wachukue kura ili Kasongo asonge arudi kweli.
The leaders asserted that the opposition is united in their pursuit for change ahead of 2027 elections, dismissing reports that Kenya Kwanza has reached out to some of the principals to cross over. They also condemned what they claim is alleged grabbing of land in Kibiku, Kajiado County by senior government officials. Gatete Njoroge, Citizen TV, Kajiado County.
Across the political aisle, top ODM leaders led by the ODM chairperson and Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga alongside Junet Mohammed say that ODM will form the next government either alone or through a coalition, insisting the party will no longer settle for the opposition. The leaders praised development achieved under the broad-based arrangement while launching scathing attacks on the former Deputy President and Democracy for the Citizens Party leader Rigathi Gachagua, accusing him of fueling tribal politics. Willie Lusige with that report.
With campaigns for the 2027 presidential election gaining momentum ahead of time, ODM leaders converged into Lele Narok County for a joint church fundraiser and Narok County ODM delegates meeting where they unveiled Alfred Pere as the candidate for Narok Township Ward upcoming by-election. The leaders declared ODM will not return to opposition but instead form the next government either on its own or in alliance with like-minded leaders.
Chama ya ODM haitakuwa chama ya opposition tena hapa Kenya. Chama ya ODM ndio itatengeneza serikali ya 2027 ama itakuwa coalition ambayo inatengeneza hiyo serikali. Tumehangaika ya kutosha. Itaendelea kutoka hapo paka huko ndani. Si namna hiyo.
They credited the current broad-based government for the progress being witnessed nationwide while condemning former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua for what they said is perpetuating tribal politics without a clear vision for Kenyans.
Kama si broad-based hatungekuwa na airport hapa Narok, na airport itamalizika in 9 months time. Nataka mjue hivyo. Kama si broad-based, hii maneno ya hii reli haingepita hapa Narok na inakuja kumalizika. Hizo vitu ndio zinakuja kutu benefit.
As the party marks 20 years since its formation, ODM leaders also urged Kenyans, especially unregistered youth, to turn out in large numbers for the voter registration by IEBC starting Monday.
Na kwa nini tunaadhimisha? Kwa sababu chama cha ODM kimesimama na Mkenya. Mambo ya ugatuzi, ODM ndiye ilileta. Mambo ya vyama vingi, ODM. Mambo ya katiba mpya, ODM. Tumeleta amani wakati tuliambia Wakenya kwamba tuende broad base. Si ndio? Kwa hivyo sisi tuna haki ya kusherekea mambo yetu ya miaka 20.
Chama cha kitaifa. Na kiongozi wetu anaitwa Baba Raila Amolo Odinga. Baba akisema left tunaenda wapi? Akisema right tunaenda wapi? Akisema fire tunafanya nini?
Willie Lusige, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
The call for autonomy for junior secondary school teachers continues to gain traction, with more counties joining in the push that they say will streamline the management of education in the country. The teachers now want the government to stick to the 26333 system as envisioned under the current CBE system.
What started as murmurs of discontent about the management of junior secondary schools in parts of the country are now echoing across the country as more and more JSS teachers demand for a distinction between them and the lower primary school teachers' management. In Bungoma, the teachers are now threatening to boycott classes next year if the government does not listen to and act on their demands.
We are asking the Teachers Service Commission, we are asking the Ministry of Education to grant JS autonomy. Yes. We are asking the members of parliament that the sessional paper that is presented to you on comprehensive schools should be rejected in totality.
The piloting program that the government has been doing in JSS
about the issue of comprehensive schools. It is not working, and there is no learning that is going on in junior school.
The same sentiments reverberate in Baringo and Nakuru counties. The JSS teachers are adding to the voices of their compatriots countrywide. Like their Bungoma colleagues, the teachers here say the way out of what could be a crisis in junior school education lies with the granting of autonomy.
Wajisimamie wenyewe kwa upande wa hata na pesa za shule zao, kwa sababu serikali inapotuma pesa tunajua kwamba kuna pesa zinaenda primary na kuna pesa inaenda JS.
Kule JS tukuwe na principal, tukuwe na deputy principal, tukuwe na head of departments kama ilivyo kwenye senior schools.
The girls have skirt, the boys have long trousers. That is different from the uniform of the primary school. That is uniform autonomy. Secondly, accounts for primary and junior secondary school are different. So the financial accounts being different, that is financial autonomy. What the JS and teachers of Nakuru and this country are requesting is autonomy on the issue of management and administration.
The Post-Primary School Teachers Union, KUPPET, has also joined the fray, calling on the head of state to intervene in a situation that they say is now becoming untenable.
That it is not about politics. It's not about what people are talking about. It's about the structural correctness of having junior school as distinct part and a very key sector in shaping the future of learners, being guided and managed by people that are not fit to be their administrators. As a result, we have had these teachers standing behind me, suffering and going through immense torture in the hands of these primary school teachers.
JSS teachers are citing lack of well-equipped laboratories, unclear career progression guidelines, uncertainty around the confirmation of 20,000 interns amongst the issues that must be resolved to avert the planned boycott.
Solidarity forever.
The Teacher Service Commission has, in the meantime, suggested that a new structure of administration in primary schools be adopted, where the institution will be headed by one principal and assisted by two deputies, each in charge of the primary and the JSS section. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.
The continuous mass voter registration drive kicks off tomorrow, with the Electoral and Boundaries Commission, that is the IEBC, expected to enlist 6.3 million new voters ahead of the 2027 election. The exercise, which will be launched in Kajiado, will be conducted across the country, with youth who have attained the age of 18 expected to register. The exercise, which will cost the Commission approximately 8 billion shillings, will be conducted at Huduma centers and all IEBC registration centers across the 290 constituencies. All right, we take a break on Citizen Sunday Live. But as you watch our news reports, do share your feedback. The X handles are at @obarrows, at Citizen TV Kenya. The hashtag is Citizen Sunday Live, and the SMS line is 22422. We will be sampling some of your feedback at the end of this news hour. But first, we take a break. In July 2024, the quarry dump site in Embakasi transformed from a garbage dump into a mass grave with dismembered bodies of women lying at the bottom of the dam. The prime suspect, Collins Jumaisi Kalusha, confessed to the killings only to escape weeks later from Gigiri police station under mysterious circumstances. 1 year on, 1 month on, the self-confessed quarry killer remains at large, and the silence from the Ministry of Interior has left families without justice or closure. Citizen TV revisits the timeline of horror, government inaction, and the chilling possibility that some victims may have been protesters from the anti-finance bill protests of 2024. Here is our special feature, Quarry of Silence, with our investigative reporter, O'Day Francis.
After tumetoa hizi miili, simu ikapigwa hapa Justice Center, tukaambiwa ukitoa hiyo miili watasema ni woli huwa.
Kwa bodies zenye tulitoa, moja ndio ilikuwa at least unaweza ona sura.
hatukuwa na record yote ile amefanya crime hapa ama tufanye nini.
In 1 year 1 month he cannot tell us who killed those women.
At the peak of crisis occasioned by countrywide anti-government protests, dismembered human remains were discovered at the Kware dump site in Nairobi's Embakasi area. On July 13, 2024, volunteers discovered body parts wrapped in sacks and dumped in a Kware pit opposite Kware police station.
Tembeaga na Bible. Unahubirianga makajana wale mabadest.
A year later, we returned to Kware to meet volunteers who discovered bodies.
After tumetoa hizi miili, simu ikapigwa hapa Justice Center. Tukaambiwa, ukitoa hiyo miili, watasema ni woli huwa. Wakasema, tukiendelea kutoa hizo miili, watasema sisi ndio tuliua hizo miili. Wakasema juveje tunazishika, zikienda huko, wakiziangalia, watasema ni sisi tuliua. Sasa nikauliza tuliua, tukakuja kutoa tena.
Kwa bodies zenye tulitoa, moja ndio ilikuwa at least unaweza ona sura, na ilikuwa ya ladies mwenye alikuwa na Colgate lakini alikuwa amekatwa into pieces. Mikono ana, lakini from hapa up to uso ndio ilikuwa, huyo ndio tungeza identify ni body ya mtu mmoja. Lakini the other ones zilikuwa zimekatwa into pieces, hakuna body complete, ziko kwa different sack hivyo.
Haikuwa na vichwa.
Yeah, yenye ilikuwa na vichwa ni huyo, yenye ilikuwa na complete kichwa ni huyo dem. Yeah, ilikuwa na Colgate. So some of the hiyo guni yenye tulimpata ilikuwa na bendera ya Kenya. So
the discovery triggered the speculation of a possible link between the killing and the anti-government protests.
Maandamano ilikuwa imefanyika tarehe 27 Thursday na yeye akatoweka Friday tarehe 28. Na nafikiri hiyo ndio ilikuwa maandamano ya mwisho ile kali.
July 15, 2024, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, moved swiftly. Forensic analysis of a victim's phone led them to a rented room just 100 meters from the pit. Inside, machetes, SIM cards, IDs, and women's clothing. And Collins Jumaisi was arrested outside a club in Kayole.
From our interrogation, all his victims have been murdered in the same style.
On the sidelines of the arrest, some of those volunteers who helped retrieve the bodies started receiving threatening messages.
Sasa kutoka hiyo shughuli ifanyike, sasa tunaishingi tu na wasiwasi juu ya vitisho, masimu. Unapata sangine umedungiwa na mtu simu. Hata wako sema ni kina nani, waliniuliza tu wewe ndo pastor wa vijana. Kaambia tuliona ulitoa mili, ulifanya kazi poa kwanza. Hiyo ni kazi poa. Na tumekaa tukaona tukupatia shughuli. Waliniambia tu hao ni serikali, hawako niambia majina. Nikamwambia mmefanya poa, sasa mnanipatia shughuli na wapi? Tumeona ni vizuri tukupelekea Homa Bay. Hapo tukunulia ka area fulani kwa kasoko, ka ploti, tukujengee tukweke kazi yako. Nikamwambia mjini haiwezi. Mjini noma, shughuli iko huko. Nikamwambia kama mjini haiwezi, si mbaya, najua watu wagonyo pia bado wanataka mboka wapatie hiyo ya Homa Bay. Jamaa tu nikajua hawa wanataka kunichinja. Hawa si watu wapoa. Kwanza wametaja story ya shimo. Hawa kwa idha kunisunda hawa.
Stephen recalls the day he was arrested by the police.
Tukaendelea kutoa mili, tukaendelea kutoa. Bado kwa hiyo operation bado nilibambwangu ujue. Kuna zile mili tulikuwa tumetoa. Tukamwoyo mwili tutaipeleka Mochana mguu, atoke kwa Landi. Majamaa wakanidunga kwa rodi na Landi kama 7. Land Cruiser pale, ile rodi inaitwaje pale NTSA. Pale NTSA ile rodi hivyo. Tulikuwa Mbogi na nilikuwa nimeambia Mbogi mtu asibebe dimanga ama silaha yoyo. Jua tutaki vita, sisi tunaenda Mocha kupeana message yetu. Watu support ama ni aje. Tuambie bado mili ziko kwa shimo na watu wanalia, familia zinalia, watu wanahitaji justice yao itendeke. Majamaa walitokea huko na 47 manini, walipiga marisasi live. Jamaa hadi alikuwa ananipigia makidi mpaka kwa miguu ananiambia kwanza wewe ndio ulikuwa unatoa hizo. Unajua nilikuwa na kamba bado, sikuwa nimerudisha kamba.
Another volunteer spoke to us on condition of anonymity.
Wani nimepewa mara mbili. Kuna jamaa alikuwa
in black suit. Nje siko na shughuli zao. Lakini alikuwa jamaa amevaa mzuri. Tukipatana tunaweza kuambia ni yule lakini simjui jina. Ananiambia hiyo shimo sijaribu kurudi hapa. Nilikuwa mara yako ya mwisho kuingia kwa hiyo shimo.
Weeks later he was followed back home.
Jo alitumana hadi nyumbani.
Kwenye ushago.
Si ndio? Kari KPZ inatokanga inakujanga kama mseiona. Kwanga na kakio kanyuma kana kwanga sheni sana. KBZ. Ni hapo Subaru majamaa wini.
August 20th, 2024, just weeks after his arrest, Jumaisi escaped from Gigiri police station alongside 12 Eritrean detainees. No alarms, no resistance.
The escape was aided by insiders, considering that officers were deployed accordingly to guard the station.
Witnesses say the cell doors were left unlocked.
Wakati ule kijana alipotea, alikuwa anaitwa Jumaisi ama yule. Wakati alipotea, DCI si rahisi kukuonyesha siri zao. Lakini walikuwa wamenionyesha mahali hiyo kitu ni kinyumba kikubwa lakini shimo iko katikati kama hii, lakini iko katikati hata upande ama mwingine akushikilie uwezi panda. So hiyo kitu na jamaa rafiki yangu aliniambia hiyo hata ushinde tu ukifuatilia. Walifungulia na hiyo ni serikali ilifungulia. Sasa ni mambo ya serikali.
We returned to the Gigiri police station where 8 police officers were interdicted over the escape of the Kware suspect. This is the front side of the police station. We have established 4 CCTV cameras at the gate. One at the building facing the gate, another one at the entrance of the main station inside the reporting area. Another CCTV is located. 2 other cameras directly facing where the cell door is. 9 cameras behind the cell building. 3 more cameras located strategically to capture any activity at the back. The cell is also built in a way that makes it difficult, if not possible, for one to climb and escape. Directly behind the cell, we establish another critical installation, the diplomatic police station directly opposite the Gigiri police station. And then around the area are at least 9 embassies, all heavily secured. So just how did Jumaisi escape from this most protected area? August 26th, 2024, a warrant was issued for Jumaisi's arrest, but the trail went cold. Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen appeared before Parliament. His answers vague. MP Gathoni wa Mushomba walked out in protest and was suspended for 20 days. We visited Reli, where Jumaisi is said to have been doing his SIM card registration business, and the people who knew him had tales to tell.
Kioski ilikuwa hapa hii area, lakini sasa unaona watu wameoccupy. Ni hapa. I hope logo ni Keada. Si unasikia tu, unajua sasa wameoccupy space.
Hapa.
Sasa tuseme tu ni hapa tu. Hiyo kioski ilikuwa hapa sababu hata huyu anaweza mjua, anajua yeye. Sasa si ati mtu ati hatumjui. Tulikuwa tunaishi na yeye hapa, anakaa hapa, mimi nafanyia biashara yangu hapa. Na yeye alikuwa anauza hizi line za Airtel na alikuwa anakuletea mpaka line mahali unafanyia biashara. Sasa nikaona hiyo jambo ni gumu sana kusema hiyo blada yote yagukiwe ni yeye. Na bado police station iko hapo karibu Kwale na tunajua vile wanafanyanga, hata hakuna mwenye anaweza toka hapa aende akae hapo bila kuwa ati ni maneno wamewekelewa. Tunajua hao watu na pia sisi tuliona ni kama wamefanya hiyo brada alafu wanataka kuagushia goli huyo mjamaa. Juu haingewezekana ati amefuga yote na hizo kaba, hiyo mili yote. Hakuwa na uwezo ya kutransport. Hakuwa na uwezo mwingine kama ni wa kuua na kufanya hiyo jambo. Wanasema ni yeye bila yani usaidizi yote. Sababu hata maiti yenyewe kuibeba hata ikikufia hapa ni kazi gumu sana, na hiyo ilikuwa maiti mingi sana. Hii kuwa hata ni kazi ya siku moja wala mbili.
Wakati ilifika akifanya nao wengine hatakuwa na record yote ile amefanya crime hapa ama tufanye nini ama ameshikwa amepelekwa polisi ama kotini bado.
Kulingana na venye kuko hiyo jamaa hizo watu 42 hivyo tu abruptly tu bila hata mtu kujua. Hiyo ni kitu yenye make sense. Hiyo ni kitu amekaa hapo miaka ngapi? Sio jamaa amekaa hapo for seme 2.5 years. Hapo panya anaisha amekaa hapo for 2.5 years kulingana na venye mimi najua. So sasa kusema ni yeye hapo ni ironically sana kusema ni jamaa ndiye anaua juu. Itakuwaje na majirani wako? At least akifika mtu wa 5 atakuwa shajulikana jamaa kumbe anauanga watu. Lakini from 1 to 42 people.
August 2025, 1 year later, Collins Khalusha Jumaisi remains at large. The Ministry of Interior has gone quiet. The public outrage has faded, but the pain for relatives remains.
Kesho yake tarehe 29 bado hakupiga, hakuonekana. Sasa ilipofika tarehe 30 hiyo mwezi wa 6, ndugu yake akampigia simu asubuhi kitu saa 3 asubuhi. Simu yake iliingia, ikapokelewa, lakini hakuna mtu alikuwa anaongea. Ndio pale kulikuwa tuna kelele kama mziki, kama ni kwa barabara, pikipiki, lakini hakuna mtu aliongea. Yaani baada ya siku 2 kama amepigiwa hivyo, simu yake ikawa sasa imeenda mteja.
That's how the family would be called after DNA test and identification of the dismembered bodies.
Sasa tukapata ni yeye. Ndio mwili ilikuwa haikuwa mwili mzima, ilikuwa imekatwa nusu. Kipande ya kutoka kwa kiuno kwenda juu. Macho yalikuwa yameng'olewa, ulimi pia haukuwa.
But in the village, Rosemary's father is a devastated man. Grass overgrown on this grave, maybe to show how time flies.
Nimeona tu ndoto nimeona tena sana kwa hii mtoto wangu. Nimeona tu ndoto sometimes nimelala kama nimeamuka nimeona tu mtoto wangu. Usiku nimeona tu mtoto wangu. Sasa naona tu mara ya 4.
Tukaangalia tukashindwa hata yeye angefanya nini, but ni tuliambiwa kwa sababu ya DNA. Hiyo ndio result ya DNA, ile body tulikuwa tunaonyeshwa ndio hiyo. Na tangu wakati huo vile tulitoka hapo tukaenda tukazika, hakuna ripoti yote nimeambiwa.
It had been weeks since the authorities confirmed the DNA matches, weeks since the silence of uncertainty gave way to the finality of truth, while other body parts still at city mortuary to date.
Remember, we still have body parts at the city mortuary that have not been identified to date, 1 year down the line. We have over 10 different body parts which have not been identified to date.
While the nation watched in horror, it was the youth of Mukuru who stepped into the pit. The psychological impact was immediate. Nightmares, panic attacks, depression.
Kibodi wise tuseme nilikuwa affected na hiyo sewage. Nikatreatiwa hospitali, juu hizo nini zilini affect hiyo sewage iko hapo, kuna chemical, kuna nini. So nilikuwa affected na hiyo scenario yote, so kuna mtu hajazoea kuona kitu kama hiyo. Sasa ilikuwa 17 bodies at time, hajazoea kuona vitu zimekatakatwa. That time unaambiwa twende mpaka city, unawatolea hizo bodies unawekea mpaka huko ndani, juu hakuna mtu alikuwa volunteer kuchukua hizo body aikinge huko kwa morgue. So ilikuwa sisi ndio tunafanya hiyo kazi.
Hata kama ni kwako pia yenyewe ni Kitungori, juu jaipatanga mtu amechinjwa pieces, umeshika huyo mtu, umeona hizo maskele, hiyo harufu yote. Kutoka nishike hiyo mguu nilikaa kama wiki moja sikulangi chakula na kunywa toka soda. Juu mkono ilikuwa inanuka, haing'ari, naosha mpaka na mawe. Lakini nikinusa hivi sijui ni venye nilikuwa nimenusia hiyo miguu yenyewe, juu nikinusa mkono nasikia tu harufu ya ile mguu. Wiki mzima hakuna kukula kitu kama ugali ama chakula kingine. Nilikuwa nakaa hivi mpaka mimi mwenyewe nashindwa mpaka sasa nikaanza kusema kwa nini nilitoa hiyo mguu nikaishika.
According to the Mukuru Community Justice Center's report, volunteers faced intimidation from unknown individuals, some believed to be linked to local authorities.
Tumeona pia the dump site iko very active, na serikali iliweza kusema wataweza kurudi pia kuweza kuendelea na mikakati ya pia kwenda kutambua kama kuna mili zingine ziko pale, ilhali hiyo haikuweza kufanyika.
The young men at Kware were going inside the pit to retrieve these bodies, but they were threatened by the DCI to stop the process of retrieving the bodies. So as we speak, we know for a fact that there are rotting body parts inside the Kware dump site.
Basi kama walikataa tutoe hizo mili ama tumalize shughuli, ama pia wenyewe wakakataa tumalize pamoja na wao, ama wakakataa kuimaliza, au wanajua rada ni gani. Juu kama wajui rada ni gani, hawangesimamisha story kaa hiyo. Hiyo ni story kwanza ndio ingekuwa first priority saa hii kulingana na hiyo kitu. Juu sijaiona tena watu wamechinjwa hiyo design.
And in the quiet moments, we posed these questions to Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen, and the answer was...
First, let's start from motive. If the motive was such that there is a gain on the part of National Police Service by protecting him, you would say, okay, yeah, there must be something that someone is trying to gain from it. There is absolutely nothing to gain from that guy. For some reason, as you've said, people can get lost in this country, you know. I am not sure whether he's still alive. So that's the other question. What if he's not alive, you know? What if he's not in the country? What if he's, you know? There are many things that we can think about.
How can a whole minister in charge of such a serious docket, funded by taxpayers' money in billions, come and stand in front of lawmakers, representative of the same people who are murdered, to tell us in 1 year, 1 month, he cannot tell us who killed those women?
1 year, 1 month later, the government is asking for help on the whereabouts of Jumaisi.
And we request that we support each other to, as Kenyans, to provide information. And I really hope that DCI will catch up with this person.
You're telling us to help you to arrest. You don't have capacity to tell us who killed 42 women, but you have capacity to go and fish out Gen Zs from their mothers' bedrooms in the name of terrorists. But you cannot give us one terrorist who killed 42 women.
Gathoni says the truth must come out on what, who and why women were killed and dumped at Kware.
Ukiniona bunge nikifukuzwa na Wetangula, I am being chased away for asking very critical questions to the executive.
This is after she was suspended from parliament for 20 days.
Ask those who are watching, if it were you, Gathoni, seated there watching Murkomen answer your question, how would you behave? You wanted me to clap for him. Oh, Murkomen, thank you very much for coming to parliament to write to us. That's not Gathoni for you. And those that are attacking me, telling me that, I was indisciplined. Let me tell you, prepare for this girl to be very indisciplined, because I'm going to ask very critical questions to this government. In fact, having Murkomen as a minister for Interior is a terrible mistake for this country. On the 4th of September, kama bunge itakuwa kwa session, nitaenda huko. And I will ask the same question until they give me an answer.
Nafeel uchungu sana kwa sababu hakuna venye hata kama mtu alizika mtu wake, huyo mtu anasikia ngaje. Wakati hata hiyo kesi ifuatiliwi, iongelewi, hata mtoto alichinjwa hivyo unyama. Unajua hata mimi saa hii hata nikikujiwa, hata wenyewe kama wananisikia, wanajua venye kunaendanga wakinikujia. Heri waniue waniache hapo nibebwe na muraya. Kuliko mguu yangu ipatikane Kware, ingine ipatikane sijui wapi. Yani unaenda kuzika mtu wako akiwa pieces ama anaunganishwa. Unadhania watu walibaki na uchungu ya aina gani?
Many questions hang over the abandoned Kware at Kware Embakasi. Just how did the suspect Jumaisi escape from police custody? And why was the exercise to retrieve bodies halted? In the heart of Nairobi, beneath the silence of this Kware, lies a story too grim to ignore. The city mortuary is preparing to dispose of yet another batch of 259 unclaimed bodies. Among them, dismembered body parts recovered from Kware site. For many families, this marks the final blow. No burial, no justice, no closure. These remains are believed to be linked to the horrifying murder of 42 women, victims whose lives ended in brutality. Their body discarded like refuse. And then, the twist that deepens the wound, the escape of the prime suspect, Collins Khalusha Jumaisi. From Gigiri police station 1 year later, a man once held in connection to these killings, now vanished, never tried, never convicted. His disappearance raises chilling questions. Was Jumaisi a pawn in the larger game, a tool to pacify public outrage? Or did authorities know more than they let on? Tonight we ask, who failed these women? Who silenced their stories? And why does justice remain elusive? Only the still waters of Kware and body bags they were stashed in know the full truth. Ode Francis, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Some very pertinent questions raised there in Quarry of Silence. You can find that report on our Citizen TV Kenya digital platforms. We take a break, but we have more coming up on Citizen Sunday Live, including your feedback. Thank you for staying with us on Sunday Live. A first-of-its-kind nature-based solution is transforming wastewater into a valuable resource in Mikindani, Mombasa County. A newly launched constructed wetland is now cleaning sewer water and channeling it for irrigation, safeguarding marine ecosystems and strengthening food security. The project is part of the EU-funded Go Blue program implemented in partnership with UNEP, KMFRI, NEMA, and the Mombasa County government. Our reporter takes us to Mikindani for an in-depth look on Citizen Planet.
Beneath these swaying grasses and carefully layered gravel beds, a quiet revolution is underway. A constructed wetland transforming raw wastewater from Mikindani Township into a valuable resource. Here, nature takes charge, purifying sewage through wetland plants, gravel beds, and natural microbes, transforming wastewater into clean water for farms and thriving ecosystems.
Na hii miduga, hii mimea inataka maji kila mara, ndio maana maintenance. Cause hii ikikosa hata maji kama within a day, tayari processing imefanya nini? Imeharibika. Sasa hii ndio inaabsorb maji na hii ndio inachuja maji.
The system is part of the Go Blue program targeting 6 coastal counties: Mombasa, Kwale, Kilifi, Tana River, Lamu, and Taita Taveta.
It's a local laid process. It started from all the counties. But this is really feeding to the National Marine Spatial Planning and Kenya's ambition of building sustainable blue economy. So it is part of the national process, national policy and strategy.
It goes a long way in solving wastewater management in Mombasa County. Mombasa City County has a big challenge in wastewater management because of the failing sewerage system. So having a wetland like this is an example of what can be replicated elsewhere in the estates of the county.
This 40 million project, funded by European Union and implemented by UNEP, KEMFRI, and UN Habitat, is already transforming lives, benefiting more than 40,000 residents and dozens of farms while curbing pollution's harmful effects.
Hasa wakati ambapo kuna uchafuzi wa mazingira, hizi samaki zinaadhirika na pia zinaadhiri wale ambao wanazila, manake ule uchafuzi wa mazingira unaingia chembe za kemikali ambao zinaingia kwenye hizi samaki ambao zinakuwa ni kudhuru wananchi.
Hii maji inakuja tumeweka mataps hapa ndani ya mashamba. Wakati wote wakitaka maji wanapiga kupitia hizo taps, na wanashukuru kwa sababu sasa hii mboga inapatikana kwa wingi, na ndizi pia vile mnavyoona ndizi zinafanya vizuri.
By using nature to clean nature, Mikindani is showing how simple local solutions can tackle pollution, protect marine life, and secure food for the future.
Kabla ya mradi huu tulikuwa wenyewe tunajisaidia kupanda mahindi, lakini tulipopata mradi huu inatusaidia kwa upande wa kulima na afya mboga.
Tulikuwa na maji taka ambapo ilikuwa inaleta magonjwa aina na aina kwa familia nyingi. Inaleta katika magonjwa kama malaria, inaleta magonjwa kama typhoid, maana watoto wanachezea hayo maji machafu.
Mikindani's constructed wetlands could soon inspire similar projects across Kenya's coastline, proving that when communities, science and nature work together, everyone benefits.
Radio Citizen concluded its 3-day tour of Nyanza region with a vibrant church service at the Embassy Chapel in Kisii town. Led by head of radio Tina Ogal, the team expressed gratitude to residents of the region for making Radio Citizen the #1 station, promising more engaging programs and elevated tours to connect face-to-face with their fans. The tour was made possible through a partnership with Safaricom PLC, Joy Millers and Pepsi.
Na mchungaji tuweze kubarikiwa pamoja. Amen. Sisi umeumie. So pia wao ni wadhamini. It's allowed. So how do
angalia it can look you in the eye. So ningependa
sasa nyinyi mnapata fursa ya kuweza.
Asante kwa kutuchagua Gospel Embassy Chapel hapa Kisii kuwakilisha kaunti ya Kisii, Nyamira na hata Migori nafikiri. Kwa hiyo tuna baraka kubwa sana.
Naweza kuambia wazi kwamba huku Kisii tuna wasikilizaji wengi sana. Utapata kama Wakenya hawasikizi Egesa FM. Wanasikiza nini? Radio Citizen. Tunawapenda sana. Na kuja kwetu hapa ni kwa ajili ya upendo na furaha, ndugu yangu.
Ningependa David atakabidhi zawadi kwa pastor, because nakumbuka pia mchungaji alisema that kila mtu kule mbinguni atapimiwa na kiwango chake.
Wacha tuseme asante kwa kutupokea, kwa kuja kwa wingi. Wapi mashabiki wa Radio Citizen?
We begin with a quick EPL update where Arsenal served up some late-night magic, coming from a goal down to sink Newcastle 2-1 and move within 2 points of leaders Liverpool. Back home, Kenya have stormed into the final round of the 2026 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup qualifiers with a commanding 4-0 victory over Ethiopia in the second leg clash at the Ulinzi Sports Complex. The Rising Starlets were clinical from the start, breaking through in the 7th minute when Valerie Nekesa headed in a Rebecca Odato cross past goalkeeper Abeba Ajebo. Nekesa doubled the lead in the 16th minute before captain Fasila Adhiambo struck to make it 3 before the break. Nekesa completed her hat-trick in the 67th minute to seal a 4-0 win for Jacqueline Juma's Chargers, giving Kenya a 5-1 aggregate and a final round clash against regional rivals Tanzania. Today's sports editor must be an Arsenal fan. Kenya Police have secured their place in the 2025-26 CAF Champions League second preliminary round despite a 2-0 home defeat to Mogadishu City FC at the Nyayo National Stadium on Sunday. The Somali side took the lead in the 33rd minute when Issa Aiden Yusuf sprinted onto an Albert Onyema pass and slotted past goalkeeper Ndiaye to silence the home crowd. Their second came from the penalty spot after Josh Onyango brought down Yusuf, with Ibrahima Bangura coolly converting. But Police's 3-1 first leg victory ensured a 3-3 aggregate draw, sending them through on the away goals rule. Their dream of reaching the group stage now lies just 180 minutes away.
Goli la pili, MCC anashukuru kwa kile walichokipata. Abdirahman Ali Abubakar ameficha penalti yake.
Shabana FC will return home to Kisii County with all 3 points after edging Bandari FC 1-0 in a Kenyan Premier League match. The winner for Shabana, popularly known as Torre Bobe, came in the 64th minute through striker Brian Mishera. The result lifts Shabana to the top of the league standings with 6 points from 2 matches, level with Posta Rangers, but behind on goal difference. In other results, Moranga Seal defeated APS Bomet 2-0 at Wendo Stadium to claim their first win of the season.
Lakini ndivyo alivyo hivyo, simu zinaita, anayepigiwa pokee. mwamuzi ukaizuia raha ya Shabana.
I think this is a lesson, a lesson well learned. So itabidi to the next game tuone nini tumefanya makosa and then to work on it na tuweze kuwin kwa sababu kuna game kadhaa za kujiredeem.
Kianza ligi tulikuwa na maneno ambayo tuliongea. In fact I said na siwezi meza ile maneno nilisema tuko kwa ligi kuchukua kuwin ligi, tuko kwa ligi kuparticipate. So I think for us we want kunyenyekea sana mbele ya Mwenyezi Mungu na tuendelee kuwa zaidi kuliko vile tumekuwa tukiwaka. So tunaenda kuwa zaidi sana ndio tuweze kupata matokeo mazuri tukienda mbele.
Waliwaitia raha.
Geoffrey Waire emerged winner in the third edition of the Narumoru Cycling Festival, clinching the road race category in 2 hours, 48 minutes and 11 seconds. Bobby Joseph and Fantas Gisheru took second and third position, respectively. Event organizers used the platform to urge the government to provide more funding for cycling development. Julie Wahome of Africa Extreme noted that despite the sport's popularity and potential to engage youth, promote health and boost tourism, there has been little financial commitment towards infrastructure, training and competitions beyond local levels.
We are very happy that the community is starting to understand and to support their young people to be in sports, and also because cycling is a sport that is very educative, so we use the cycling platform to elevate the young people through education.
So we identify talent from the local community, we allow them, give them an opportunity to develop those skills, and then they take part in these competitions. And we have several cases of riders who have gone on to represent the nation, part of the Kenya team in international competitive events.
The Moi Educational Center was a buzz of excitement as PIPSA hosted its two-day invitational swimming championship, attracting over 200 swimmers from 21 teams across the region in various events. Star performer 15-year-old Ndanu Cecilia from Lukenya Dolphins struck goals in the 100 meters with a time of 2 minutes, 3.19 seconds. Chabet Michelle took silver, while teammate Trish Amba claimed bronze. In the boys category, Tomlinson Chad from Mount Kenya Academy dominated the 25-meter freestyle, winning in 14.56 seconds. The PIPSA National Championships follow next, scheduled for October the 11th and 12th, featuring swimming alongside soccer, skating, basketball, taekwondo and chess.
Because we've been training hard in school, and I hope all the other events are going to be more interesting and fun to compete in.
So far the competition is so high, swimmers are improving their times. It's a good thing because we have elite swimmers and we have swimmers who's actually their first time competing, and that's an opportunity that we never had before.
We have the junior secondary school, and then we go to high school. We also have Cambridge, so you are at home, and we want to make this sporting arena where everyone will be associated with us in good faith.
The second edition of the Tiki Taka tournament lit up the Ruiru grounds, showcasing youthful football talent and community spirit thanks to sponsorship from Wigo, a multimodal taxi transport company. The tournament, aimed at uniting young people from different estates, provided a platform to display their skills while engaging in positive activity. This year's edition featured 8 teams, each representing their neighborhoods, with players displaying passion and promise. Wigo has reaffirmed its commitment to empowering youth through sports.
The seven-a-side football is growing very fast in Kenya, and so many young people are playing it in the estates, and they lack an opportunity where they can meet and compete with other teams from different areas.
We are happy that this event has gotten a lot of our sponsors, and we thank everyone for this opportunity.
So we are here to support them, give them all that support that they may require. Wigo is here to help both Kenyans, not only drivers, not only other local people, but we are here to help both the drivers and the riders at all.
All right, as promised, we now take a look at some of your feedback following the reports we've aired tonight. Let me see who is first up. We have Katebes K, who states, with the IEBC voter registration exercise starting tomorrow, I call on our younger brothers and sisters, the Gen Zs, to heed the calling and start registering to vote in 2027. The changes they want start with them. This is Okelo Mwalimu, who says MOE should move with speed and grant JSS teachers the much-needed reprieve by installing autonomous systems in the junior school management. This will not only boost the morale of those industrious teachers, but also enhance the quality of education in JSS institutions. This is Engineer Lazaro, who says a nation governed by the law cannot be caught off guard by such kind of brutal mass murder, Kware and Shakahola. Government must come out and tell Kenyans what really happened. We need credible answers. This is Moses Kim Ngetich, who says, good Lord, the accidents were so tragic. Caution to all drivers, please drive carefully. My condolences to the families of the deceased. And he continues to say, the government should speed up investigations on the murders. It's painful to the families of the deceased seeing no justice into the killings of their loved ones. This is Babu Michael, who says on a Quarry of Silence, it is very disturbing watching this report, knowing very well there hasn't been a closure to this and the main suspect, quote unquote, the so-called Jumaisi, went missing in the most guarded Gigiri police station. I'm so suspicious about this one. This is Nixon Ndugire, who says, Quarry of Silence, a very sad story indeed, and worse still, no arrests so far. Any leader who was in power during this sad moment and was in a capacity to prevent the atrocities should not be given any chance at all to lead in any position in this country. This is Collins Nyamunga, who says, Quarry of Silence, story on Citizen TV Kenya is quite sad. It's unfortunate that 42 lives were lost in the capital, and to date, no answers from the government as to what happened. Again, Moses Kim Ngetich, the government should, I beg your pardon, this is Jack Coast, who says that Quarry story is really traumatizing. May justice prevail. All right, that is what we have for you as at this hour. We conclude Citizen Sunday Live. I've been your host, Olive Burrows. Our sign language interpreter is Yula Nzale. And from the entire Royal Media Services, we wish you a great start to the week ahead.